Joining me is Dr. Saumik Biswas, co-founder and CEO of Tenomix. His company is using AI and automation to transform pathology workflows and improve cancer care. Saumik is a young trailblazer recognized for his leadership in health innovation. Saumik, thank you for joining me today. Just to jump in, what gap in the healthcare system did Tenomix set out to solve?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. The challenge that my team and I were tackling is a pretty manual process in the cancer staging workflow. So my team and I, we actually met through the Medical Innovation Fellowship Program, which is in London, Ontario. And we were basically tasked, my team and I, to interview clinicians and figure out their pain points. And we interviewed different doctors, and one of the doctors is in pathology. And he mentioned that in colon cancer staging, part of the process involves basically pathology staff using their hands. They're digging through surgically removed cancer tissues, trying to find these small lymph nodes that are very hard to find by hand. So what my team and I did is, my background's in pathology, so I know this process exists. So we started interviewing pathology staff around the world, US, Europe, Asia, Middle East. Everyone started saying the same thing. This manual lymph node search process is super expensive. It's inaccurate. And it can be very labor intensive, where they're spending 1 to 3 hours just hunched over looking for these lymph nodes. So that's what my team and I basically did is we want to basically automate that process. And the way we're doing that is by building this benchtop robot. And the whole idea is pathology staff take the tissue, they would put it into a tray. That tray goes into our robot, press start. The robot will automatically take in the specimen. It uses ultrasound to scan the tissue. Our AI is finding all the lymph nodes and then instructs the robot to physically mark and map out where the lymph nodes are all autonomously. So the whole idea is pathology staff can go do other urgent work coming into the lab, and they would go back to the specimen knowing exactly where the lymph nodes are.
Oh, wow. I mean, that sounds like that's like a game changer, especially when it comes to this discovery of these lymph nodes. And I don't know the full aspect of it, but if you could just share with me in terms of like not only improving this process, but being more effective in terms of what discovering or uncovering cancer.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason why they look for lymph nodes is because when they take them out, they send it to histology, and essentially those test results, the lab doctor is trying to figure out how many of these lymph nodes have cancer cells, and the number of cancer positive lymph nodes indicates if you're stage 2, stage 3, or stage 4 cancer. And what that basically determines is the spread of your cancer. How far is it spread? So that the doctors can then determine if you need chemotherapy or not. So the issue is when you miss potentially cancer positive lymph nodes, you run the risk of having inaccurate cancer staging for patients. And hopefully with a more standardized system, we can have a more reliable lymph node finding process that can hopefully lead to more consistent diagnoses for patients.
And you mentioned at the top in terms of colon cancer, is this applicable for different types of cancers as well?
Great question. The short answer is yes. So the lymphatic system, the network runs all throughout your body. So whether you have head and neck cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, stomach cancer, they all basically may involve lymph nodes. So you still need to do these types of analyses for the lymph node itself.
That's amazing. So we're here at Brampton Venture Expo. I'm curious, how did the Brampton Venture Zone really help you navigate the challenges of this, this deep tech here within Canada?
Yeah, you know what? BVZ played a huge pivotal role in our company because our company actually incorporated in July of 2021. So we joined BVZ around 2022. So we were just a year into our company. And as a first-time founder myself, there's so many different components of a business, like understanding how to do usability testing with your early prototypes. How do you go to market in terms of bringing this type of deep technology to Canadian hospitals, US hospitals, and also learning how to fundraise. Like, how do you even raise money for these types of things? And through BVZ, we had the fortune of being involved in a number of business workshops that had professionals come in, experts come in, and take us through the fundamentals of building a sales strategy, a go-to-market strategy, or even a fundraising strategy. And we had some phenomenal workshops, but also mentors who lived through it before, and they were able to shed their insights to us as first-time founders. And because of that knowledge creation and learnings that we had through the program, my team and I, we've been really able to strategize and make the right decisions that have led to the outcomes today. And, to date, we've closed about 4 million Canadian.
Hmm.
And we've had some amazing pilots with phenomenal hospitals in the US and Canada.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, it's such a, you know, key to be part of a community, part of those who are focused. But when it comes to the mentors that you had received, I guess explicitly through the BVZ, were those some of these mentors really, aside from business and startup and business canvas, you know, thinking about this deep tech, this medical space, were there really inspirational people that helped you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm just trying to think of our example because with what we're building, it's the first of its kind.
Hmm.
So having technical knowledge is something that we had in house. And I think the part that we needed the most help on is like again, we have this really neat technology. We have clinical interest. How do we execute on this decision? And the mentors that we had help with preparing a fundraising strategy. They help with figuring out, how do we do usability testing with hospitals to get good feedback on our prototypes. But most importantly, basically they allowed us to think about 3, 4, 5 steps ahead and think about things that maybe didn't work for them. And that was such great, valuable learnings for us. And we've been able to really tweak our strategies based on that feedback.
No, that's amazing. Um, I'm keen and I'm very, my podcast is the business leadership podcast. So I'm curious, what leadership lessons have you learned now, coming from school, launching a podcast, when it comes to balancing this technical innovation,
Yeah.
With sustainability?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me in my role in coming out of school and being involved in this company now for almost 4 years, really the importance of communication, clear communication. And the reason why that's so important is because when you're building deep tech, it requires multiple efforts and coordinations and collaborations with different individuals with skilled expertise. So you need to have individuals who understand robotics.
Mhm.
You need to have medical professionals who understand the pathology space. You need to have regulatory professionals that can give you insights in terms of how to regulate this type of medical device. You need to have experts in go-to-market, reimbursement, that can go on forever.
Yeah.
Right? But I think having clear communication with each of these stakeholders in terms of what you actually need, where you need help with, and being transparent about that has been really helpful for me as a leader. The second part of it too is accountability. So the reason why my team and I have achieved several milestones in a short period of time is each team member is so accountable to their milestones and their KPIs. Mm-hmm. And because of that accountability, everyone's been on track. And we hold each other accountable too. That's the most important part too.
That's great. It's good. It's good to be part of a team and part that's, respectful in terms of accountability and ensuring the success of what you folks are doing. So as you look into the future and thinking about where you are today, where do you see Tenomix shaping the future of healthcare globally?
Yeah, I think our ultimate goal and mission is to be able to build these really innovative tools that will really supercharge pathology staff with this level of intelligence through AI and robotics and ultrasound imaging. And our goal is to be able to build these solutions that can equip pathology staff to do the right job at the right time with as least time, resources involved in the processes that they're involved in. And our hope is with these technologies, we can automate some of these manual workflows. We can clear out some of the backlogs that are sort of piling up in the pathology labs and hopefully be able to introduce a new system that can usher in a whole new era of precision medicine in cancer care.
That's great. So can you share what stage you are at now when it comes to, I guess, the traction that you have now?
Yeah. So for us right now, we've been working really hard to transition from alpha beta prototypes. And I'm very happy to say we have a pre-commercial unit right now that looks really phenomenal. So the robotics and the hardware have been basically finalized as of right now. And what we're hoping to build on is now the AI piece for the robot itself. So we'll be doing data collection studies in the next year and a bit. And once we sort of collect those data points, hopefully we can build a much more integrated solution that can then reach the market as soon as possible.
When do you see, I guess, best case scenario, hitting the market, getting a production unit, and really finding this and helping the world?
Yeah, our hope is we're hoping to do a controlled launch in Canada first around Q1 of 2027. And then shortly afterwards, we would be launching in the US. So likely in Q1 of 28.
Wow. That's
coming
great.
up.
Yeah, it's coming quick. It's coming quick. I guess I'm curious, what part of the BVZ journey really gave you the clearest sense of direction?
Yeah, I think the most memorable moment for me in terms of clear direction was probably during the fundraising. And as many of the viewers may know, that raising in Canada is very difficult. And we decided to raise at a time in 2023 when the markets were not the best. But the feedback that we got from the mentors at BVZ really allowed us to have a game plan in mind. And that first round, we raised over 2.1 million within that year. And we couldn't have done it without the feedback we got from mentors. And it was an all Canadian round, which is usually rare to hear of for a med tech startup. But we pulled it off. And now we have our eyes set on a second seed round that we're hoping to do right now, actually. And we'll be traveling all across North America.
Oh, that's great. I guess before I let you go, Saumik, like in one sentence, how would you describe BFZ's role in your entrepreneurial story?
Yeah, I would say BVZ has played a huge role in the sense of building the foundation of our company's success. So what I mean by that is through the workshops, through the mentors that we worked with very closely, they helped us build certain fundamentals of our business. How do you pitch? How do you fundraise? What sorts of things do you need to think about when you go to market with technology like this? And I think those fundamentals to date have stayed consistent. And that foundation has allowed us to build on top of that even more as we get in new data points, as we make new progress. So I would say it really helped build the initial architecture for our company.
Saumik, I'm super excited for the world, the future that you're innovating, that you're creating. Thank you for all you do, and thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thanks for having me.